Hello, good evening. Welcome. Thanks so much for joining in. We're going to wait another minute or two for a few more folks to log in. But, as that happens, I'd love to welcome everyone that is here right on time. Thank you so much for joining us. My name's Priyanka. I work with GradRight. Who are we? What are we? What are we doing this evening here? We're going to talk a little bit about all of those things. We're also going to be talking to you a little bit about sort of answering some of your questions around, what it takes to really complete that application as you're thinking about applying for your master's abroad. But, depending on where you are on your study abroad journey, you can sort of come in and use GradRight. It's a completely free to use platform for any student in India that is looking to consider a master's in the United States or Canada or elsewhere. If you're sort of looking to shortlist programs and sort of really see what is it that right program that really suits your personal and professional goals, use our product SelectRight. It's an AI-powered recommendation engine where you put in all of what it is that you're looking for out of your master's program. Maybe you're looking really for sort of a really research-based program. Maybe you're looking to work and study in a big city. Maybe all you're really looking at is sort of careers and job placements that come job outcomes that come in for students based on what the university offers. Whatever it is that you're really looking for, we're going to try and use data to help you make the right decision, the smarter decision about where to apply for your master's abroad. Once you've maybe received a letter of admission, perhaps you're thinking about, how do I really fund myself? We understand that as an Indian student, it can be really difficult, to sort of really figure out, how am I paying for this? How am I making sure that this, degree is worth it? What is the return on my investment? We understand it can be a really, really big decision for students to think about how to fund their master's abroad. So in case you are looking for an education loan, you can use our product FundRight. It's an education loan bidding platform where you come onto the platform, once again, completely free to use. You share with us, what it is that you're looking for in terms of an education loan amount, where you've applied, what your background is. Based on all of that, 15 lenders from India and abroad bid to offer you an education loan. So all of that and more for you to explore, like I mentioned, completely free. So please go ahead and use it. We're also available on social media. If you need us on Instagram, on LinkedIn, follow us on @GradRight. My name is Priyanka. I'm so excited to have all of you here this evening. We're going to be talking about one really crucial part of your master's application that you may have not even considered. It's a step that sometimes students often stumble across, and it's an international credential evaluation. And we've had lots of questions that come in, to us as we talk to students on our social media, in our DMs around, is this really sort of necessary? What is my bachelor's in India worth in the US? How are American universities or foreign universities really looking at my foreign, bachelor or undergraduate degree and assessing it and sort of evaluating how does it sort of, match up against an international or their foreign sort of degrees? So how we do that, what we do, what it costs you, how long it takes. We're going to get, answers to all of those questions. We've had a couple of questions that have come in already before the event. The Q&A box is open as always. So I encourage all of you to sort of, if you've got specific questions, if you're worried about timelines, if you're thinking about applying for spring and you're wondering, will I be able to get an international, credential evaluation in time for my spring applications, which are due any day now, we'll make sure that we answer some of those questions. We've also had a couple of questions come in on our Instagram. We'll be taking all of that. I'm not going to be answering any of those questions. We've got the experts in from IEE. What is IEE? Who's going to be answering your question? I'm going to throw it over to Sheetal. Sheetal, welcome. We're so glad that you took time out on this Tuesday morning to speak with the GradRight community. We've got lots of questions that we know we've shared with you already. And I know you've got a team of fantastic panelists with you, experts really in this field. We'll be talking to you about timelines, about how much it costs, what kind of discounts you can get through GradRight, all of that and lots more. Sheetal, welcome. It's over to you.
Thank you so much. So I want to introduce myself. I'm Sheetal Vagasia. I'm the Director of Partnerships with IEE. I have my team on here, and I'll just go line by line and introduce them. I have Mark, who is one of our partnership associates, who's heading the West Coast territory. I have Abigail Martinez, who is our conference prep coordinator and our marketing coordinator. I have CJ on the call, who is our partnership associate, who manages our recruiters and our affiliate partners. I have Abby Rant, who is our newest member on our partnership team, who heads up the West Coast territory. And then I have Ace, who is also a partnership associate, and he manages all institution partners. So thank you for joining us. I'm going to get right to it and start. I'm going to share my screen and just go through my presentation. I will answer the questions that I received beforehand first, and then we'll take any questions once I am done. So you might ask, who is IEE? We're Evaluations and Translations in 3 days or less. We have been in business for 42 years. About 4 years ago, we rebranded and we focus on technology, pricing, and customer service. We are the first NACES company, yes, we are members of NACES, to offer 24/7 customer service support. We're the first NACES company to offer guaranteed 3-day service. Customer service, 3-day service, and pricing is what sets us apart from our competitors like WES. I'm sure you guys always hear of WES, but we are like WES, but better. And I'll show you how. So the markets we serve are higher education, licensure, certification, immigration, employment. And our product offerings are evaluations primarily, translations, document verification, and a custom landing page that I will show you how easy it is to apply using the GradRight custom landing page. Most of you are going to grad school, so you'd be ordering a course-by-course report. A course-by-course report outlines all the courses that you've taken in your undergrad studies in India. It will also give the U.S. equivalency, the U.S. grade equivalency, and then also the semester and credit hours earned with the GPA. So about 4 years ago, when we rebranded, we understood that there were some barriers to success when it came to international admissions. And those were missed admission deadlines, difficulty obtaining original transcripts, lots of students' complaints and confusions, lack of communication and transparency, and then the number one barrier was price. So with that being said, we came up with 4 solutions. Number 1 is technology, 2 is customer service, 3 is price, and 4 is processing time. So with technology, we've built custom landing pages for companies like GradRight to assist students like yourselves to make the process easier. We have streamlined the process. So what is this landing page? This landing page will help you fill out the application. It will select GradRight directly to receive the credential evaluation. When you use companies like WES, they don't allow the agencies or the companies that help you to fill out these applications to receive the evaluation. The evaluation is sent directly to the institution of your choice. In this case, GradRight will receive the evaluation first. They'll be able to assess your GPA, look at your credential evaluation, and then they'll also be able to help you apply to the school that fits your criteria on your evaluation. What does that mean? So let's say if you have a GPA of a 2.8 and the school of your choice you want to go to has a criteria of a 3.0, you're not going to get into that school. So what GradRight will do is help you find an institution that you will get into. This process is seamless. You could send your credential evaluation to 50 schools at 0 cost, where if you were to use WES, they charge anywhere from $25 to $35 per institution that you want to send your credential evaluation to. So this is a big point that I'm trying to make. Also, when you use this landing page, we give students discount. Our regular course-by-course evaluation is $165 if you were to go onto our website. If you use the GradRight landing page, the course-by-course evaluation is $145. It automatically selects GradRight as a recipient, and then GradRight will control your evaluation and help you send it to the institutions. It's customizable to GradRight's liking. And also, like I mentioned earlier, there's a free GPA consultation provided by GradRight. The second solution was customer service. We have a 24/7 live customer service support chat box for students like yourself. So if you were to have any questions throughout the application process, you can ask the question on the chat box and the response time is 7 seconds. You could also talk via WhatsApp, you could email us, or you can call us. The third solution was pricing. There's so much price gouging going on, and these credential evaluations can be so expensive. The bottom line for a WES evaluation can be anywhere from $300 to $400. IEE charges $145. Now, we do also help with verification. If you need help with verification, meaning that we need the original transcripts from your issuing institution, you can hire IEE. We charge a $50 flat fee. Other competitors will charge anywhere from $60 to $120. Now, if you can get your issuing institution to go directly to send the transcript directly to IEE, then we do not charge that $50 fee. You pay $145, and that is what you pay. Now, we also have partnered up with 4 third-party companies, which I will get into a little bit later on. So you could also get help from some of these verification companies in India. And if we receive your documents from any of those 4 companies, then we'll deem those official. The last solution was processing time. We understand the urgency of getting these evaluations. It shouldn't take 15, 30 days, 45 days to receive your credential evaluation. We are the first in the industry to offer 3-day guaranteed standard processing. You're probably asking how? Well, it's because we're an ed tech company. We have built processes and robots behind our process to speed up the delivery time. We have over 3,500 institution partners, and we're constantly growing and we're adding more partners. So if you don't see your school on our list, it's okay. GradRight can send it still by a single email. About 95% of institutions will accept our reports. We are NACE's members, and that is why. I'd like to brag about this slide before I get into the questions, because customer satisfaction is so important to IEE. We are the highest rated company in our industry. With 18 competitors, we rank number 4. We have a 4.7 star Google rating, over 5,000 reviews. 96% of the people would recommend us. So myself and my team would love to help you guys achieve and receive your evaluation so you can get admitted into a U.S. institution the fastest time possible, with 24/7 customer service support, transparent pricing, and a 3-day guaranteed processing time. So I'm going to get into the questions now, because I think this is really important, and then I'll open it up to any other questions that you guys might have. So I received these from GradRight earlier this week, and I'm just going to go question by question. I think there's 10 questions. So the first question was, why should I take a credential evaluation? Many universities are not asking for it. Why should I take one? Great question. Even though many institutions do not ask for it, do you guys know that in order to get into an institution, you need a U.S. equivalency? Just because an institution is not asking for it doesn't mean that they do not perform these credential evaluations in-house. What does in-house mean? In-house means that the institution is performing the credential evaluation, and it could take a lot of time. There's about 17 million students just from India applying in 2023. The bottleneck is there. The demand is there. Institutions cannot keep up with it. What this means is that you're taking a 50-50 chance if you do not have a credential evaluation. If you have a credential evaluation from a company like IEE, your application is put up on the top because your package is complete, and your admission decision can be made faster because, like I said, your application is complete. Number 2, Is IEE equivalent to WES? My university is asking for a NACES evaluation. Will they accept IEE? Absolutely. IEE is better than WES. IEE is also members of NACES, and IEE evaluations are accepted by 95% of the universities. That 5% is a 5% chance. That means that they have an exclusive contract with the company that they prefer. But I will make a big but. Most institutions accept our credential evaluations because we're members of NACE. So if an evaluation is completed by IEE, and even if they have a contract with another company, they will still accept our evaluations. Okay, the next question. Most of my friends have chosen WES, ECE, Joseph and Sinley. Are there any benefits if I choose to take IEE instead? Absolutely. What sets us apart from those three companies listed above are our optimal pricing. We are the cheapest in the industry, and we are the fastest. So our 3-day processing time, our 24/7 customer service support, and our streamlined application that sends the credential evaluation directly to GradRight, and then GradRight can send it to 10, 50, 100 schools for no extra charge. Okay. The next question, IE evaluation is too expensive, even more than a total application fee for my university. Is it worth the cost, and how? Well, let's first say that the application fee is completely different from a credential evaluation fee. An application fee is the fee that the institution charges you to process your application. The fee that we're charging is for your credential evaluation. Yes, an IE evaluation is worth it because it's a one-time fee. And at some point in your education and career, you're going to need a credential evaluation. Also, you could send it to multiple universities at no cost. So you're not just choosing one institution. You're putting all your eggs in one basket. You don't want to do that. You want to have a credential evaluation and send the evaluation to 5, 10, 15 institutions. So you know that you have a chance to come to the US for education. Like I mentioned earlier, you will eventually need an evaluation if you decide to stay in the US to work. So it's also good to have a credential evaluation, because when you start the application process, you will also use your email and a login, and you'll have access to your evaluation at any given time. And you could ask for revisions, add to it, and send it to any employment facilities, also for immigration purposes too, if you do decide to stay in the US. The next question. I graduated several years back, and is it difficult for me to go back to my Indian university to get the transcripts? Can IE help me? Yes, like I mentioned earlier, IE can definitely help you. We do charge a $50 verification fee because we go after your institution to get the original documents. But if you don't want to pay that $50 extra $50, not a big deal. You could call or email one of those 4 third-party companies: Mail Transcripts, True Copies, Worldwide Transcripts, and 100 Transcripts. All 4 of them are great. My favorite is 100 Transcripts. It is also cheaper because I think it's about $25 to $30 versus $50 because it's in rupees. So definitely use one of those 4 third-party companies, and they'll help you obtain your original documents. Okay. I love this next question because I'm so excited to share with you that for the longest time, Indian students used WES because they were the first, and it's known that they're first. Like when someone says that they want a Coke, they don't want a Coke, they want a soda. So when Indian students call evaluation a WES evaluation, it makes me kind of angry because it's not a WES evaluation, it's a credential evaluation. And the next question I'll explain to you in a few minutes, but it says, I have a 3-year bachelor's degree from India. How can IEE evaluation help me? Also, what are the chances that my degree will be seen as an equivalent to a US bachelor's degree? So this is a great question. IEE recently, about 6 months ago, launched our benchmarking method. What does that mean? That means it's the same method that WES uses. So if you have a 3-year degree in India, as long as you have 120 credit hours, which about 95% of the students do, it will be deemed a 4-year equivalency, a US equivalency. It's just like WES, but we're better because we're faster. Okay. Also, we do not differentiate between grading scales. We have one grading scale per divisions or institutions that come from India. So your GPA is actually going to be very accurate when it comes to a US equivalency. So, like I said, let me repeat that again. We do offer a benchmarking method. Your credential evaluation will be a 4-year US equivalency as long as you have 120 credit hours. So if you have a 3 years bachelor's degree from India, you should be able to have a US equivalency of a 4-year degree, because most of the reports and most of the evaluations that we're seeing from India do have over 120 credit hours. Okay, we understand that the university system in India is different from the US. Who are we to judge that a 3-year degree is not equivalent to a 4-year degree? Also, we understand that the extensive amount of work goes into a 3-year degree. Next question. I already have a 4-year bachelor's degree from India. Why do I need to take a credential evaluation if a US bachelor's degree is also 4-year duration? Because the system in India is different from the system in the US. It doesn't matter if you have a 4-year degree. It doesn't matter if you have a 3-year degree. It doesn't matter if you did 2 years. You will still need a US equivalency. So that means you need a credential evaluation to get into any institution in the US. Okay. Universities want to see a company like IEE, who are members of NACES, to give them that confirmation that your education is equivalent to a US degree. Why is this important? Well, we don't want to waste your time. We want to make sure that you will succeed here in the US. We want to take your time. We don't want to take your money. Institutions want to make sure that you don't fail out, that you are able to complete a master's in the US. And this is why it's so important that the US equivalency is stated when you do apply for an institution in the US. Last question. Does a credential evaluation increase my chances of admissions at my university? If yes, why and how? Yes, it does. It does, because at the end of the day, you're taking the time to do a credential evaluation. Your evaluation will be put on top of the list and it'll help you receive an admission decision faster because your application process is completed with an evaluation. Like I mentioned earlier, a lot of these institutions do them in-house, but guess what? Those in-house institutions that are big, big, big international schools are actually reaching out to companies like IEE and outsourcing those credential evaluations because they can't keep up with the demand. I'll give you a prime example. UNT, University of North Texas, is a big, big, big international school. About 75% of their international students are Indian. They have piles and piles and piles of credential evaluations that they can't get to. And guess who they use to outsource them to? IEE. They'll send us 1,000 a month because they can't keep up with the demand. But you don't want to be that student who is in that pile and you don't even get to. So what happens is that if the admissions deadline is done and they don't get through those applications, they don't even look at them. And that's why you never get an answer from certain big institutions. So it's always good to have your credential evaluation, because then you know you're going to be on top of that list and you could send it to multiple institutions. You don't have to bank on only one institution. I think I have 2 more questions. I'm sorry. Can a credential evaluation straighten my visa application, or there's no correlation between the two? It can. It definitely will. It will definitely will. Your I-20 can be issued faster because your application is complete. So if you have a credential evaluation and you get admitted to an institution, they're going to issue you I-20 right away. So this can help your visa, because then you can make your visa appointment and get that visa approved. Without a credential evaluation, like I said, you're just a number and you don't know when you're going to get that admission process. Also, if you do decide to work in the US and you want to stay in the US and you want to further your education to a PhD or even work for a company, your credential evaluation is a must and it will be asked for. So your immigration firm will say, I need a credential evaluation. You go through an immigration firm, they're going to charge you 3-4 times the amount of money for credential evaluation. So it's always good to just have one. So let's say you have a bachelor's in India, you did a master's in the US. It doesn't matter if you did the master's in the US, they're still going to ask for the credential evaluation for the bachelor's in India. Will the credential evaluation help me with finding a job after I graduate in the US? It will definitely, but you need a credential evaluation at some point if you want to work in the US. If you get one done now, then you won't have to worry about it later. I'd like to thank you for listening to me. I'm going to open it up for any questions that you might have, and I'm going to stop sharing this.
Thank you, Sheetal. That was actually really comprehensive and I think covered so many aspects of the entire process. And thank you for taking some of the questions that had already come in, ahead of our event this evening from the GradRight student community. You took the time to really answer each and every one. We appreciate that. We do have some questions that have started to come in the Q&A box. I'd love for everyone else that's on the call. We have about another 30 minutes with Sheetal and her team. This is a great time to ask any sort of clarification questions. And I'm going to start off with taking one question that's come in on our Instagram, which I think you touched on at some level, but I think maybe you can offer an answer to this as well. So Purva asks, do you provide guidance on the level of education my foreign qualifications are equivalent to in the US based on the evaluation? I have a 3-year degree and a PG diploma. So not a master's, but a diploma. So would that also be eligible for
so that's a great question. So that means she has 2 credentials. We do not charge per credential. We'll only charge $145. She would have to order a course by course report and list both credentials. That's what sets us apart from other companies, because most companies will charge $35 per credential plus the course by course fee, right? So we would go ahead and evaluate the diploma as well as the 3-year degree.
Got it. And Sheetal, just a quick question on that. Do you find that there is a discrepancy in terms of if it isn't a formal degree like a master's or like a bachelor's? Like if someone, we often have students that do one master's in India and then go for a second master's abroad or an MBA potentially. So is there a difference in how those are evaluated versus things like a PG diploma? Or it just depends?
They're the same. Yeah, it just gives you the US equivalency with all the courses listed, right? So if a student in India did a master's program, we would go ahead and evaluate that program as well. And if it was not deemed a master's program, would say, okay, well, according to this, it's not considered a master's, but they had 2 years of graduate level studies, right? It just really depends on the transcripts and how the evaluators would translate that. But if it's a 3-year degree, it'll be equivalent to a 4-year bachelor's. And then if they did complete the master's, then it'll say they also have a master's degree.
Got it. And one more question coming in. Funny asks, I did my UG from Vijayawada, which is a small state is a small city in the state of Telangana. Can I also get an IE evaluation?
They did their what? Master's?
They did their undergraduate in a small city in south of India. So I think the question around, will their university also be available? Any
city in India, we evaluate all of them. There's so many universities in India. So send it our way and we can evaluate it.
Right. And Sheetal, just to that question, I know you'd mentioned a little bit about some of the different kinds of universities that you've worked with in India. Have you ever had a case where, we just couldn't get through to this university, or, there was just no way that we couldn't get a person on the ground and get this?
If it was during COVID, absolutely. Maybe a year after COVID, absolutely, right? But now, no problem at all. Those 4 third-party companies are in Bangalore, they're in Hyderabad, they're in Mumbai. They are great resources and companies that will help you. That's all they do, is that they just go after transcripts, right? Original transcripts. And then also IDE, we've been in business for 42 years, The thing is that we have books and books of registrars. India is 75% of our business. So trying to obtain original documents is not that difficult. It is easier for IEE to do it than the student because it's the student, right? But if you hire a third-party company, they work with those companies and they work with IEE. So it's very, very, doable for us. It might take 2 or 3 days to get, but we get it. And we're still faster.
And I think that's really reassuring because, when you're in that process of sort of applying, there's already all these things you're thinking about. You're stressed about your SOP. You're stressed about, following up with your recommender. You don't want to be sort of chasing your college for paperwork. And, if you can sort of outsource some of that, get it done in a way that's timely and cost effective, then I don't necessarily see, why someone wouldn't want to do that. A question coming in the Q&A box, Sheila, I'm going to take to you. Do we have to, as students, send in our transcripts through the post? So does someone need to sort of physically get papers sent in to the IEE office?
So no, so you can actually scan them. So I'm just going to share my screen again really quickly because I do want to show the landing page that we have for GradRight. So here is the landing page. So GradRight will send all of you students, clients, this landing page. If you click on Start Evaluation, then it'll take you to the application process. I'm already logged in, so it'll ask for your email address. You go through this application process. It takes about 4 to 5 minutes to fill out. You could scan your copies of your documents, and then you'll have an option, whether it says, your institution will send IE the original documents, or you need IE's help. You finish the application, but we start the evaluation. So we'll start the credential evaluation with scans, and then we wait for the originals, and then we finish it. That's how we're able to process these in 3 days. Just keep in mind, though, the 3 days start as long as we get everything that we need in order to complete the evaluation. But we do not need physical copies. You could scan them in, you could just put them in, and then we'll wait for the original documents to come from the issuing institution. We understand that some of your students, you might have only one original copy. We hate the postal service. We don't want you to send it. It's too expensive and it's too messy. So everything that we've done is digital.
Yeah, that's great to know. One more question coming in the Q&A box, Sheetal. Manisha asks, when the universities receive, is the pricing, the $145, is that covered for electronic and post? So you've just talked a little bit about how we don't need any physical documentation. It's all online. So presumably this $145 pretty much covers everything. Is that true?
That's a great question. Yes. $145 is what you pay. Now, if you need help with verifications, we add on $50, but $145 is what you pay. It will automatically select GradRight as a recipient. And then GradRight, which we've already showed you, you can assess the credential evaluation, and you could send it to any institution at zero cost.
Got it. And one more question coming in, which I think, Sheetal, you might have some fun answering. This person may have come in late, but they want to know, how is this different from WES?
Oh boy. Yeah, we touched on that. We are different from WES because we're faster, we're cheaper, and we're better. We're an ed tech company. We focus on technology, and we actually answer your question. If you go through this, I'm sure this presentation will be sent to you guys for your review. One of the biggest things that students ask is, well, how are you different from WES? Well, WES has been around. They were the first company, so understand that it's branded. And I mentioned earlier, when someone says they want a Coke, they don't want a Coke, they want a soda, right? So when you say a WES evaluation, it's not a WES evaluation, it's a foreign credential evaluation. IEE has taken extreme amount of time to really better our process. 4 years ago, we were branded, and we offer everything that WES offers. The only difference is that I think we're better, and I'm not being biased because I am with IEE. I really mean it. We are the highest rated company in our industry. We're the fastest. We're the least expensive. There's no price gouging. I feel like companies like WES, they're just too big now, and they concentrate on other things, where IEE is still one of the top 4 companies in the industry. But we focus on the student more than anything, and making sure that the student has the resources with our 24/7 customer service support to complete the application and to really help the student further their education. Look, I'm Indian. My dad was an immigrant. He did his master's in West Virginia, and he had to go through the whole credential evaluation process. It's hard being an Indian coming to the US with nothing in your pockets. We understand that some of you might not have the resources to pay for this. So we're trying to make it as super simple as possible, affordable, and trying to get you guys admitted to some of these top institutions in the US to further your education so you could further your lives and take care of your family. So that's why IE is very passionate to me. And that's what sets us apart from WES, where you're going to be a number at WES. At IE, you're actually going to be an individual that we care about to make sure that the process is streamlined for you, and working with companies like GradRight to ensure that your evaluation is not just going to one institution. You're not putting your eggs in one basket. You're sending it out to 10, 20 institutions so you do get accepted somewhere. I hope I answered that correctly.
You did. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I hope, that whoever asked that question also got, a good answer. That actually is a great segue to a question that came in on Instagram earlier, where somebody that asked, is there someone I can talk to help me at IEE? Or is this like purely sort of, all online, you put in a request and mysteriously it just goes in.
So, the beauty about this is that, if you need help with your application, you should actually contact GradRight, and they could help you complete that application, right? If you're close by the office, go into their office, sit down with them, look at the landing page. And if you need IEE's help, absolutely, we can help you. We have a 24/7 chat box just for students to help students complete the application. And if you need to contact somebody from the sales team or the partnership team, ask for Ace. He's on the call. And say you're from GradRight, you're at the GradRight webinar, and he'll walk you through the process.
All right, amazing. Okay, one more question from the Q&A box. Let us see. Okay, there's one question coming in from an attendee that has chosen to remain anonymous. They ask, the norm with Indian universities like the University of Mumbai or Pune, the first year mark sheets are given by the college instead of the university. Would that pose a problem?
No, we deal with it all the time.
Excellent. What are the kinds of universities that you keep dealing with again and again? Are there sort of repeat customers that you see?
Mumbai is big. A lot of them are, I'm not really familiar with all of them because I'm not an evaluator, but we do see a lot from Mumbai. We see a lot from everywhere, but there's one that was JSIU but they come from everywhere. So many from South Indian, so many from Hyderabad, so many from Bangalore. So yeah, we can send you a list, but we work with all of them.
Yeah, so I think that the thing that I was trying to say was there's lots of big universities that you've worked with, so you understand sort of navigating what it takes even within the Indian sort of university system. And you've also worked with smaller universities in smaller towns and cities. So it really, I think students should sort of be rest assured that, most likely your university will be covered. If it hasn't already been, they will be the first time with IEE.
Think of it this way, we built robots behind our system, and we have grading scales. There's about 40 different grading scales from India. I know that for a fact. So that tells you that there's a huge range. And with this new method of a 3-year degree being equivalent to a 4-year degree is so huge for IEE, because we did our research, we wrote a white paper, and we came to a conclusion that a student that has a 3-year degree is more proficient in their line of studies and is going to be more successful than a student with a 4-year degree, because their concentration was where most of their classes were. So they just completed it in 3 years versus 4 years. Commends, being an Indian student. We're smart. We're the smartest. And I believe one day we're going to take over the world.
All right. Next question coming in the Q&A box, I think around mark sheets and transcripts. One student asks, I have 6 mark sheets for each semester. I don't have a transcript. Can I get my evaluation done with mark sheets?
Yeah, so mark sheets are considered transcripts.
Got it. Yeah, I was just going to ask. I think mostly they would be considered.
Yeah. Mark sheets in India are considered transcripts. So we just call it transcripts in the US. So, but in India, they're called mark sheets.
Yeah. So same thing, not to worry. Quick question on that, Sheetal. In fact, if a student is applying for their master's and maybe they're in their final year of their undergraduate sort of degree in India, can they also be applying for an international credential evaluation if they're still yet to graduate? Okay.
Absolutely. You want to start early because when you complete your undergrad, you just send us that and we do a revision and we upgrade your evaluation. So, but there's no need, right? We're not WES where we're going to take 45, 60 days. We do it in 3 days. So, if you are trying to apply to a school before you're done, so you're getting in as a provisional, not a big deal. Go for it. If you want to do that, I actually encourage that because you're just ahead of the game. But there's no need to worry where you're not going to miss an admission deadline if you're using IE. And if anybody is in a bind, we do offer same-day service. We also offer 2-day service. You got to pay a little bit more, but don't put yourself in that position. Start early, get it completed, and then you have it. Okay. And always, always, always use the GradRight landing page because you're going to get that discount. That link is so important. And, Priyanka, share that link with them because put it on your website because it's so important that $20 can be the $20 that you're paying for the verification at a third-party company in India. So you don't, so all in all, you're not wasting money. Don't waste the last minute.
Yeah, I think, already as an international student applying, it can be such an expensive prospect. You're sort of, there's so many sort of hidden charges along the way in the application and admissions process that we definitely don't want this to be a hindrance as well. And in fact, that's a great segue for a question that we got in on our Instagram coming in from Alankar, who asks, are there any discounts or waivers available? Which you've talked a little bit about.
Automatically, if you use GradRight's landing page, you automatically get a $20 discount. So $145 is what you're paying.
Yeah, and that's sort of
course. Yeah, if you use WES, you're paying $350. It's almost double.
Yeah. And if a student chooses not to go through GradRight and sort of approach IE directly, is there a difference in price?
$165.
Got it. Okay, one more question coming in on the Q&A box. Okay, and I'm not sure what the first part of the question is, but the second part of the question is quite interesting. They say, do backlogs affect my American equivalency during conversion? So backlogs, Sheetal, I'm not sure if you're aware, but they're typically the ones, the courses that a student may not have passed in their first attempt, or a class they may have,
No, we count the final grade.
The final grade. So that's actually a question that we get quite a lot, especially with some of the more difficult, academically challenging sort of bachelor's degrees like a BTech and things like that, where, courses,
so we count the final grade. Now there's certain institutions that don't want us to do it that way. But that's because if you're going directly to that institution, so this is a benefit, you all. If you're using IEE, we do not count backlogs. Now, if you go to an institution, about 50% of them do. So if you're going to bank on an institution that doesn't require a credential evaluation because they do it in-house, then they're counting the backlogs maybe, but IEE doesn't. So your GPA will be higher from IEE. I know that for a fact because we've had cases like that. Now, the difference is that the institution that doesn't require the credential evaluation will still accept our credential evaluation because it's there. They don't have to do it over again.
Right.
Yeah.
There was a very interesting question in the Q&A box, which I think CJ is answering, and I'll let CJ do that. But I also wanted to bring this to you, Sheetal. And someone's asking, could you tell us the difference between a document report, a document and GPA report, a course report, and a divisional course report? I'm guessing they've probably been on the landing
Yes.
page, sort of done everything.
Yes, absolutely. So a doc report just states your US equivalency, that this person has a bachelor's in blah, 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 blah. A doc plus GPA will state your equivalency and also give you a GPA. A course by course report will list your equivalency, GPA, list all the courses you've taken, the US grade, and the semester credit hours earned. A divisional course report will list all the courses taken in not chronological order, but like in subject category order. 90% of the institutions, if you're applying for grad school, will require course by course. Do not even look at doc report or doc plus GPA because they're gonna turn it back around on you. So don't waste your money on that. Order the course by course report. If a website says that we require a divisional, then order the divisional because it just makes it easier for them to read the courses.
Ace, did you want to jump in and say something?
Yeah. You put your hand up, or you're good?
No, yeah, I'm good. Sorry.
Ace just wants to say hi and introduce himself to the GradRight student community. Fantastic.
Yeah. So, a divisional and a course by course is basically the same thing. And the divisional, we're just categorizing the courses. So if you were a computer science major or an engineer major, then they'll list all the engineer courses, right? So.
Yeah. And Sheetal, just a quick question, because we had 2 or 3 questions coming around this. There's different kinds of evaluations, and you talked a little bit about that when you were answering some of the questions that came in earlier. But could you maybe talk, is one preferred over the other? Is there a benefit for a student, or does a university sort of prefer one, like course by course, or?
So
How would one choose?
Yeah, every institution is different. Okay, so if you're an undergrad and a first-time freshman, it's either a doc plus GPA or a doc report, maybe a course by course. But if you are a grad student and you are applying to go to a master's program in the US, 99% of these institutions will require a course by course report. That is what you're going to order. That's why we discount the course by course report, because it's the most popular report that's being ordered. Now, there's licensure reports. This does not pertain to students in India. Their licensure reports are more for like nurses and doctors and stuff like that. But what most of these students are going to order are a course by course report.
Got it. And in fact, just now I'm going to send out the GradRight landing page that you were talking about for IEE for anyone that would like to bookmark, the site. I highly recommend it. It's in your in the chat box, so please feel free to add that. And in case yes,
I do see a question that I want to answer. It says, I have done my graduation in 2008. Am I eligible for admissions, Jenny? Absolutely. Just because you did your education in 2008 does not mean that you cannot come to the US and further your education. It does not matter when you've done your education. It's very important to understand that, the US is the opportunity of education, and we care about education here in the US. So it doesn't matter when you graduated, you can always further your education.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say for everyone,
another question that we get a lot. Read this one. Ma'am, I haven't completed my computer science engineering from Hyderabad, but I have a 2-year gap in between my education. Is that affect my visa application? Will I get a chance? Yes, you will get a chance, absolutely, to pursue your master's. Just because you have a gap, like I said, it does not matter. A lot of times people take off a couple years, right? For example, in the US, if someone did their degree in biology, and then they took 2 years to just work as a scientist, and they decided they want to become a doctor, we'll reapply and we'll still get into programs. It's the same thing for international students.
Yeah. Okay. One question coming in, which I'm not sure if you'll be able to answer, Sheetal, but it's coming 2 or 3 times. I think I'll just take a chance. A 6.5 CGPA on 10 scale, what would that be equivalent to on a 4.0 scale? Is that something you can just tell off of numbers, or you would have to look at sort of?
Yeah, so the evaluators would be able to tell. We would take every course into consideration, make sure we give you a U.S. equivalency before we determine that GPA.
Got it. And does what kind of master's program a student is looking to apply for, does that factor in at all, or?
So, for U.S. institutions, it really determines, like I said, it's one of those things, right? This is why it's so important to use the GradRight landing page, because GradRight will be able to assess your GPA. Then you can go onto the website of that institution and see what the criteria is to get admitted to those institutions. If you don't meet the minimum GPA, do not apply there, because you're not going to get in. You're just wasting your time. But the beauty about using the GradRight landing page is that GradRight can send it to 10 other different schools. So most likely you're going to get in somewhere if you really want to come. CJ, can you do me a favor and message someone from the evaluation team on that GPA calculation so I could just give an answer? He's on it. Thank you. We'll try to get an answer. Let's see if they respond to us.
Yeah, amazing. That'll be super, super helpful. Okay, one person wanted to ask, is there a list of institutions that commonly recognize IEE? Where can I get it?
There's a list on the application. Automatically, it selects GradRight. Now you can go and scroll through the list. We have over 3,500 institutions on our list and just growing. So we are capturing the West Coast territory too. East Coast territory, we're all over the place. We do about, I don't even know, maybe like 1,000 reports a day. So we're pretty big. A lot of people, a lot of institutions know who we are. We spent the last 2 years really putting our name out there, going to a bunch of conferences, webinars like this. So you'll see, one of the biggest one is Southern Arkansas University, Wilmington University, University of Miami, Rutgers, California State, Bakersfield, so many institutions, UNT, University of North Texas, Texas A&M. So there's just so many.
Yeah. And in fact, one more person asks, Ananya asks, do you offer services for evaluating non-academic qualifications, like professional certificates?
We do. And we will state that this is a certificate versus U.S. equivalency of a diploma or a degree. We'll say it's like a professional training or something like that. Yeah. And that works because, like, think about it. If for cosmetology or medical lab assistant, right? We oh my God, one of the biggest institutions in Florida, MRU. That's all they do is medical assistants, dental hygienists, like anything like that is training versus a degree. Yeah, we can.
Yeah, we're in the final 5 minutes. So I'm going to invite any sort of last minute questions. We do have some repeat questions, so I'm not going to take them. But, I just for reassurance, it's something that you've been talking a little bit about, Sheetal, so I'm going to take this one. But so someone asks, I've applied to some universities. They asked for credential report from Spartan or WES. Will they also accept IEE? Yes. Is that correct?
They will. We are members of NACES. So sometimes what you'll see is on websites, that they'll accept, ECE or SpanTran or whatever, because that company reached out to those schools and got on the list. That's what we do. That's what the partnership team does. We're constantly meeting with institutions and trying to get on the website. Just because we're not on the website does not mean that they don't accept us. If you see NACES, we accept any NACES member. We work with SpanTran and ECE and any other NACES member. IEE's reports will be accepted. They will be accepted. And if you have a problem with that, then you reach out to us and we make sure that your report is delivered to that institution.
Got it. Thanks for taking that. And I think, sometimes students just want that reassurance because this can be a really stressful process. And sort of, seeing, that this is something that is a very viable option. It's not just something that's too good to be true. It'll deliver reports fast at a price that works. And yeah, here, I think it's great for students to hear. One question coming in on our Instagram as well. In fact, I'm not sure if maybe we can pull this up. What format is the evaluation report? Like what does it look like when it finally happens?
Okay, yeah, I'll pull it up, but I have an answer for you. A 6.5. Oh no, they haven't not responded. I'm sorry. That was CJ writing. Okay, so you want to see an example of a course by course report. Let me share my screen. Let's go back here. See, if you go to the GradRight landing page,
it's right there.
Example. So this is an example. We start with the reference number, the country the student came from, the date, the name, the date of birth, the education report type, the method used. This is a benchmark method used, which is the 3-year equivalency. The U.S. equivalency right off the bat, we give you a brief description of the education system in which the student studied. We'll list the credential. This was a Bachelor of Commerce. The U.S. equivalency was a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting. We state how we're able to authenticate the documents. This is so important. This is what institutions look for. We'll also list the GPA right off the bat. Okay. Now the course by course analysis is all done in chronological order. So we'll list all the courses taken, the grade given, and the semester credit hours earned. And you'll see that this was a 3-year degree, but they made the 120 credit hours, and it's deemed equivalent to a Bachelor of Science degree in accounting. And then we'll also let the student and the institution know we're members of NACES, ACRO, TICEPT, and NAFSA. So this is a high-level description of what a credential evaluation looks like for a course-by-course report.
Got it. And
again, it's always on your landing page. They could view the example.
Yeah, exactly. It's right there. The landing page, for anyone that may have missed it, is in the chat box. I highly recommend that you click it, save it, and go through it in case there's any questions that we may have missed. You can always reach out to us. But one quick question is sort of coming in that I think would be great to answer is, are there any additional costs for rush processing? I know.
Yes, there is. So I don't advise you to do it rush because we do it in 3 days. Now, remember, the 3 days starts as long as we have all the documents. So we will take your scans, we'll start the credential evaluation, and we'll finish it once we get the official. So from India, usually it's about 4 to 5 days because it takes 2 days to get the officials. Now, if you needed it same day, it's an extra $200 fee. We will do it the same day as long as everything is in by 11 a.m. Standard Eastern Time. We're based in North Carolina, U.S. And then we also do 1 day, which is $100. So we do offer that. You will never believe how many students pick same day because they wait the last minute. You know why? I will give you real examples of a student. There's this one example. She wanted to go to NYU so bad. She used WES because that's what the website said, WES and any NACES company. So she used WES. It took about 45 days and she still didn't have. So she emailed us. The president of the company got a hold of the email. And this girl was basically crying, saying, I'm missing my deadline. I don't know what to do. IEE did the report and sent it to NYU and she got accepted. So WES just takes a very long time. That's a real example. And we can actually show you a letter from the student sent to IEE thanking us. And the thing is that it's just so important that you choose the right company for you, even though the website might say that they use a specific company and then any other NACES company. Believe me when I say this, IEE is working really hard to get on to all of the top schools. And sometimes these institutions are just so busy that they don't take our calls, but we are on 3,500 institution partners. I've met with, in the last year and a half, over 900 institutions. I've gone to over 25 conferences, and I'm educating institutions, students, recruiters, companies like GradRight on the benefits of using IEE. So we're always here to serve you. You know, the most important person here is the student. We want the student to get admitted and further their education. And then, you know, one thing that you can take away from this is that don't rely on something that's so branded, because that brand is so big now, they don't care your number. Go with the company that is going to treat you like a person, that's going to care about you and your needs. And our ultimate goal is to help you get your credential evaluation and get you admitted to a U.S. institution.
That's a great note to end on. Thank you so much, Sheetal. Abby, CJ, Ace, for spending your Tuesday morning with us and answering some of those questions, both here in the live event, on chat, taking questions that came in beforehand. I'm sure we can expect a few more questions that'll come into us after the event. I'm going to try and bring some of them to you, Sheetal, and your team. Can answer them. We'd love to get those answers back to students. And for everyone that was here, thank you so much for joining us and spending the last hour with us. We know that sometimes these things can be really daunting as you're thinking about where to apply, how to get your applications in on time. For us, it's really important. And I think we saw value in IEE as a partner because of that, because of the fact that we're putting students really at the center of our ecosystem, at the center of our universe. We want to make sure that it's as easy as possible for you to get in to the programs that you really want to go to, get there, no hiccups or as few hiccups as possible. And I think, if we can help you do that through this partnership, that would make all of us that much happier. So thank you so much. The landing page, as I mentioned, is in the chat box. It'll also be coming in to your inboxes on WhatsApp, over the next few days. And any questions you have, do feel free to shoot them across to us. We'll get them to the IEE team over the next few days and get those answers right to you. Once again, thank you so much for joining us, Sheetal, Abby, CJ, Ace. We appreciate your time, your insights. You really took, time to answer lots and lots of questions from the GradRight community. We appreciate all of that. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Have a wonderful Tuesday and a wonderful rest of your week. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye-bye.